but I'm really, really excited about it. So I have more craft books. It's a little bit disrespectful for their time. Okay, so if you watched my last vlog, which was sort of my AMM submission and finishing my dev edits vlog, you will know that I subbed to AMM. Basically didn't get in, but what I did get is connected with a ton of other AMM hopefuls, so other people that subbed for AMM. So I actually created a Discord server and invited, you know, as many of them as I could find. I think we have like 30 to 40 in there right now out of like the 280 that subbed. I don't know, but I'm really, really excited about it because now I get critique partners. So, okay. Before I like go off fangirling about this, because I am unnecessarily excited, and by unnecessarily I mean completely necessarily, but what we did is I created a channel which was for critique partner profiles, I guess, and we reused a lot of the information that people had already put together for their AMM submission. And so this is like word count, genre, subgenres, tropes, trigger warnings, the whole query part, comps, stuff that you are looking for in a critique partner, things you want help with, things that you think you would be really good at helping, what types of books and genres you enjoy reading and would therefore probably enjoy critique partnering. And I'm sure there was some other details, but basically we all posted those, and then you could go through and read them, and if you found someone whose profile you were like, hey, we might be a good match, you message them, and you exchange, we did the 50 pages that we submitted to AMM, because everyone's were already ready, so we did that, and then you're supposed to kind of read the other person's, do a critique on it, provide your feedback, and then see if you want to move forward. So, it's a whole, you know, it's a whole thing. And I will say that this is obviously an amazing opportunity, but this is not the only way to find critique partners. These are all people that I connected with on Twitter through like the AMM hashtags, but you can find critique partners in a lot of different ways. There are sites I've seen, other author tubers have tons of videos on finding critique partners. So if you're trying to, I guess, reach out and find some, I highly recommend finding some of those videos and looking through them. I have my husband, who is like my alpha reader critique partner. He's been really, really helpful for me to bounce ideas off of, because like he can't run away and I know where he lives, you know? But I'm really excited to have critique partners that are at the same stage as me. I'm actually exchanging with them because I think critiquing other people's stuff is a really great way to grow yourself. Just being more critical of things, understanding that there are different approaches to take. Like, you can't just look at someone else's work and try and funnel it towards the type of writing you make. That isn't really how you be a good critique partner. I do highly, highly recommend Brandon Sanderson has, I think, one of the videos in his lecture series is him talking about a writing group and how to be a good critique partner. And I think all that advice is absolutely amazing. If I can find the link, I'll link it below. But it's just his lecture series on YouTube. He shares the videos for that. But anyway, so I am going to be matching with people, finding everyone I like. I'm hoping to limit it to maybe 3 or 4 at first. Just to kind of do those trials, find ones that I really like, and then maybe I can go back and be like, hey, like, are you still looking if I don't, you know, find enough people or I think I want more feedback? But yeah, I'll check in a little bit and we'll see how it goes. I haven't actually filmed in a hot minute, but I wanted to do a little bit of an update. I'm working with critique partners. I have exchanged fulls with everyone. I've gotten to the point where, like, I have everyone's full manuscripts. They all have mine, and I'm starting to work through them. So, like, over the next month, I'm going to be going through 3 different other writers' manuscripts, leaving comments, all that kind of stuff. And I know that I can get a lot more than just that done in the next month. like it's not going to take up all of my time. So that leads me in this weird position where I can do that and I do want to spread it out, but also I could do other stuff, and I'm struggling to figure out how I want to kind of break it up, if that makes sense. So it's like, I kind of feel like I need to figure out how many days a week I need to work on that, and then any days past that, maybe I can work on other stuff. And the thing is, I've sent my manuscript out, so I don't want to keep working on it while they're looking at it, just because I don't want to diverge, and then once I'm looking at their comments, have to kind of figure it out. Like, I finished that big dev edit pass. I think a break is a good idea, especially since I'm going to be getting feedback, and when I get it, I want to be able to look at it with really fresh eyes and like be a little bit more distanced from my story, especially since I just changed stuff at the beginning of the month. So, beginning of last month. Yeah. So I'm thinking I'm going to switch and pivot to maybe working more on videos or working more on plotting out my other project, which is really exciting. So I don't know. I guess I'm at the point where I don't know exactly what I want to do right now. I've gotten some new craft books. Let's see, I think they're all right here. But so I have more craft books. I also have one upstairs that I've already started on, but that one's like an editing one, so I may like stop that one for now. But I have both of these, which have to do with writing. So, and like plotting stuff. So this one is Story Genius by Lisa Cron, and this one is Save the Cat Writes a Novel, which, like, if you don't know Save the Cat Writes a Novel, have you been under a rock? I don't know. It's, yeah. They're both pretty well known, and I really want to, like, go through them while I'm kind of in the plotting process. Like, maybe not, like, I don't know. I want to read these. I also have, I got volume 2 of Timothy Hickson's On Writing and World Building book, which I love the first one and I watch most of his videos, so like I do want to go through that at some point. So it's like, do I start going through these while I wait for feedback and work on critiquing my critique partner's manuscripts, or do I kind of just start working on my story a little bit, or do I do all of these things, or do I just focus on filming? Like, I don't know. Okay, so I have officially exchanged full manuscripts with 3 new critique partners, plus I've sent my manuscript over to my 2 closest writing group buddies, so I might be getting some feedback from them too. But it's kind of exciting, so I have everything. I think the rough deadline idea is going to be about a month. All of these are going to take about a month, maybe slightly more. So what I kind of want to figure out so that I can still get other stuff done too, because this won't take all of my time, I don't think. We'll see. But I want to kind of map out like how much I need to get done each week to kind of get everything done on time. I do know that I do want to have some extra time at the end to kind of go back and just have like broad thoughts instead of like thoughts I've had at each point. So I may try to finish a little bit before the end of that month so that I have a little bit of extra time to just kind of maybe go back and reread a little, get all those thoughts together and everything. Yes. Hi. I wanted to give a little bit of an update. So going through critique partner stuff has been going pretty well. I have made it through a little bit of all of them, but it's been really cool going through and just seeing like the different kind of stuff that they all have, because I mean, you know, different writers have different strengths and weaknesses, but it's just really cool to actually see that, because I feel like until you start really being a critique partner, you don't see it as much, because like in finished work, like people have worked on those things they're not as strong at a lot, and you can't really see as big of a difference between their strengths and their weaknesses, and it can make it feel like, you know, maybe this part was strongest, but like they're clearly not bad at anything. Not that any of my critique partners are bad at anything. But you just really have your own stuff to look at, and you're like, well, I know I'm, you know, shit at all of these things, they're pretty shit in my, you know, early drafts and whatever. But it really helps, I think, being able to see this in other people's works too. Just being able to really acknowledge that, like, oh, like these parts are really strong, especially if like I'm not strong with them, and it's really cool to kind of see that. And at the same time seeing things that like I can actually provide feedback with, because it's things that, you know, I'm a bit stronger on than maybe my critique partner is, which, is one of the benefits of critique partnering, having different strengths and weaknesses. But I'm having a lot of fun with that. I am at the point where I'm really expecting there to be some significant changes to have to happen in the next draft of my Blood Magic project. Yeah. I think I'm going to talk about this more in my outlining vlog for my new video, or for my new project. But basically, I have worked on going through and really storyboarding out my other project, and I've learned so much. And while I don't think that my Blood Magic project needs to be that tight in terms of how the stories and the plot lines kind of intertwine, I think they need to be a lot better done than they are now. And it's one of those things that, like, if I had known this when I was outlining it, it would have just been way stronger and way better, and the choices I made would have been based off having everything be a little bit more tight. But obviously I didn't know that, and I don't think people should be expecting that of themselves on their first project, or even their first 2, maybe even 3 projects, because, like, you kind of learn what you have to keep in mind at the beginning as you have to go through and edit, and you have to make the mistakes to learn from them. Like, I'm sure, like, to an extent you can work on that, but just going through storyboarding my new project, I've learned so much. If I were to go back and do it from scratch, which I might, I would already be way better at it, because I've learned as I went through it, like, oh, if I interpret this like this, it makes more sense, and then I can, like, pull it all together. Like, it's a whole thing. So I'm expecting there to be a pretty big change that has to happen with my Blood Magic project after I'm done with critique partner feedback. And based off that feedback, because that's really going to tell me what I want to keep and what's the most important plot lines and what I want to really, like, jazz up. Because I don't have, like, I need to cut words. I don't have the word count to make anything stronger unless I'm cutting stuff. Hello. Okay, so at this point, I don't think I'm going to have this vlog go all the way out to when I receive feedback from my critique partners, because I think I'm going to want to do a video that's kind of going through that feedback, and then also going through and mapping out my book and kind of seeing what I want to fix in terms of, like, overall plots, tightening things up, making sure everything kind of is intertwined a little bit more. But I wanted to give just, like, some final thoughts on this vlog, I guess. Finding critique partners is definitely really, really awesome and really valuable. All the information that I've gotten from my different critique partners has been really, really different, while all still sort of coming together in the same way. One critique partner has given me a lot of grammar type stuff, a lot of, like, structural line level types of comments, which has been really helpful for me to kind of see and think about. And I'm sure once I kind of go through that a little bit, it'll make future drafting a little bit neater as I sort of get better at learning all of these rules. But then she's also had some, like, really good points about, like, setup and everything. And I actually have a new first chapter, like an additional chapter that'll be before the first one drafted, that I think is going to set everything up way better and have a much stronger opening. And I got to kind of talk to her about that and my ideas based off, like, what she kind of thought it needed. And that was really cool to be able to do with someone who's read, like, a good chunk of my book. And then some of my other critique partners have given me comments that are along the lines of, like, a lot of reactions, a lot of, like, I'm curious about this, I'm curious about that, like, what is this? Like, just, like, thought stream of consciousness, which is really, really helpful at this stage where I'm kind of looking at more developmental stuff still. And it's like, I want to know if you're bored. I want to know if you're confused. I want to know if this seems really weird that this character's doing this, or if you really aren't liking this character, or if you really like this character. And that's been really good. In my first developmental pass, I had really worked on 2 characters in specific, their openings, and trying to make them more likable and more relatable. And I got really good feedback on them from the critique partners so far on those first chapters. So it's really comforting to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I did go in the right direction there. So I'm really excited about it. I feel like, based off my experience in the last, like, half a month or whatever, I think it would be a lot more effective to basically move on to another project, or just focus on reading your critique partner stuff while you're exchanging. You shouldn't be, like, making huge changes, or like if you kind of start querying during this, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I haven't necessarily had that experience myself, but like just seeing things going on with other people that have critique partners and everything, like try to be respectful for, the person who's going through your book, coming up with feedback and spending a lot of time doing this, and the fact that like if you're just gonna move forward and not wait for their feedback is a little bit disrespectful for their time, I feel like. But in general, all in all, I've had a wonderful experience. I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to get feedback back. I can't wait to finish going through everyone's pieces. It's really is, I think, beneficial for my writing skill and my craft and everything to be doing this, like to be looking at things critically and analyzing things and thinking about different people's books and the different approaches that they have, and not trying to basically judge their books based off how I think it should be written. Like, I should be focusing on what I think they're trying to portray. And I think being aware of all those things just makes you a significantly stronger writer. So I'm really happy about the whole thing. If you have exchanged with a critique partner and want to share your experience, or if you have like questions about it that we can like see if anyone has answers to, I'd love to chat about critique partners in the comments. And if you want to give it a like or subscribe, I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.